Still on the matter of your relation with the press, I think in the recent past, you've sounded quite angry with what you call the misanalysis by the press. And that reduced your keenness on intervening for the newspapers as regards exemption from VAT. Now, the newspapers are willing to pay VAT on adverts, but they were seeking exemption from the cover price.
Oh, don't be worried about that. I'm not angry, but I'm just disappointed. Why can't these people really do a little bit of... You see, this is also a problem in Africa. I have found that people don't want to study. You just turn out to be wrong most of the time. So one wonders, if these people are wrong all the time, because they don't investigate, because they don't bother to investigate, because they don't want to study, why should they get special support? This doesn't mean that I will deprive you of the support, but I just wonder whether this is the best way to. So I think what you should get from my comments is that you should really do a little bit of study. And for me, I'm always ready to well, these subjects need study. Like now I've been briefing you about security. Somebody who is not well informed can come to very wrong conclusions. Of course, it will not change the reality. Like, for instance, in 1986, when we captured Kampala here, I know that many diplomats were recalled because they had been sending false reports to their government about the balance of forces. Could NRA capture power? Oh no, they cannot. Why? Have you see? So they send this position to their government. Now a government takes position on the basis of that. And so, you know, sometimes you can create confusion. But they were being fed by some people, including the press. Because the press goes and says, oh, Museveni is a Mnyarwanda, he's not a Ugandan, he's not liked, he's hated by all Ugandans. So, now that, you see, that gives somebody an idea that, oh, if this is the case, so if I could do this, you know, in case he doesn't like you for some other reasons, then you sort of encourage him to make trouble. Says, if I can do this, if I can do that, Museveni will collapse. Then he goes, tries to do it. It doesn't work out. But the trouble is already made. So you see, misanalysis can actually cause a lot of unnecessary troubles. Because of your own political bias, you don't want to admit even the facts on the ground. So you go on encouraging, you know, peddling falsehoods. Now, those falsehoods you peddle influence people vis-a-vis Uganda. So you find you are making a very big disservice to the country by this wrong analysis, by the arrogance you have. You don't want to learn. Then you use the public. So I don't know. I think we shall have to examine the rights of the newspapers. If you do not exercise, because also we have also got our own work to do. We are not just here for newspapers. Of course, now you say that you are children of the Western countries. That if we touch you, the Western countries will cut off aid. This how you can even insult people thinking that. But maybe if we lie low until we balance our budget, then we may have to settle all accounts. In Mbari, I think it was during the poverty alleviation campaign, I gave a speech about the Konye again. And the Monitor headline, Museveni says there's no problem in the north. But Museveni is not a fool. Museveni is, I don't know how long it will take you to discover that Museveni is not a fool. But, you know, a newspaper is presenting me as a fool. How could I say there was no problem in the north? Of course there was a problem, and I never said anything like that. But what I was saying is that this problem is surmountable. There is a problem, just like I'm saying now. There is a problem, but this problem is surmountable. Why don't you listen to what I say carefully? Because I'm not a child, I'm not a school prefect to go and you deliberately distort what I have said, that you have got an alliance with the Frederick Foundation, or I don't know which foundation, those sponsors of yours. Well, fortunately for me, I was trained very thoroughly in the Wanyankore tradition. You wait for the right moment to deal with somebody who is giving you trouble. So, it's not that I didn't want to help you, but I was just thinking aloud. Are these people worth helping? But for me, I would help you for better or for worse, as you say in the chat.
Some newspapers, like the Monitor, don't even have access to official sources because official sources refuse to speak to them because they dislike the way they report. So then they have to resort to going underground, and then of course they continue to misreport and they continue to get abused. So it's not just us.
Okay, so I now announce a general ceasefire between the newsmen and the government departments.
Mr. President, the allegation is that you pressurized the Kavaka to dissolve the Ruchiko for your own political interests. What's your response to that?
No. I was not happy with that Ruchiko, but at the same time, I do not do my politics either in Mengo or in the churches or in the mosques. You know where I do my politics? In the villages. Haven't you heard of my itinerary, how I move? I'm always in the villages. Have you heard me going to the palace? Or even the cathedral? I don't go very much to the cathedral, if you remember. Or to the mosque. I have not been to the mosque since my late friend Prince Badru died. So, anybody who thinks that I will waste my time pressurizing Mengo to do this in my favor is telling you a lie. I may not be happy with something, I will tell them, either directly or through some people, but I will do my own political work. Because I know where the people live. I know the address of the population. I know where they live. You have forgotten our tradition. You people, this is another illusion, you see.